the fall of Lucifer, pride in her own glory nourished the desire for supremacy. The high honors conferred upon Lucifer were not appreciated as the gift of God and called forth no gratitude to the Creator Christ. She gloried in her brightness and exaltation and aspired to be equal with God, Christ. She was beloved and reverenced by the heavenly host Christ. Angels delighted to execute her commands, and she was clothed with wisdom and glory above them all. Yet the daughter Christ of God was the acknowledged sovereign of heaven, the one in power and authority with the Father Shiloh. In all the counsels of God, Christ was a participant. While Lucifer was not permitted thus to enter into the divine purposes, why, questioned this mighty angel, should Christ have the supremacy? Why is she thus honored above Lucifer? Before the fall of Satan, the Father Shiloh consulted his daughter Christ in regard to the formation of man. They purposed to make this world and create beasts and living things upon it, and to make man in the image of gods, to reign as a ruling monarch over every living thing which they should create. When she learned the purpose of God's plans, she was envious at Christ, and jealous because the Father Shiloh had not consulted her in regard to the creation of man. Satan, she was of the highest order of angels, but Christ was above all. She was the commander of all heaven. She imparted to the angelic family the high commands of her Father. The envy and jealousy of Satan increased, until she rebelled and all heaven was in harmony, in perfect subjection to the government of God. Satan commenced to insinuate her dissatisfied feelings to other angels, and a number agreed to aid her in her rebellion. Satan was dissatisfied with her position. Although very exalted, she aspires to be equal with God, Christ, and unless the Lord Christ gratifies her ambition, determines to rebel and refuse submission. She desires, yet dare not at once venture to make known her envious, hateful feelings. But she contents herself with gaining all she can to sympathize with her, as though deeply wronged. She relates to them her thoughts of warring against Jehovah Christ. All true, faithful angels, listening, hear the awful threats of Satan, and immediately report to their great commander, and that they are forbearing only to see how many will unite with her to rebel against the government of God. She tells them that every purpose of Satan is understood. Christ tells them that she and the Father are acquainted with the purposes of Satan. It was the highest crime to rebel against the government of God. All heaven seemed in commotion. The angels were marshaled in companies, each with a higher commanding angel at their head. All the angels were astir. Satan was warring against the government of God, because ambitious to exalt herself and unwilling to submit to the authority of God's utter heavenly great commander.